Good morning, evening, or afternoon, everybody. We got the latest update for the MoP PTR on Throne of Thunder, and they kind of stepped back on a lot of changes. They, at first, straight up nuked them and obliterated them back to their Patch 5.0 changes, and now they have reverted some of them, some of the most egregious ones, some of the ones that felt like truly utterly terrible, which is really good. I'm glad that there's middle ground to be found in these, because I always advocate for that. I think there's no reason to be purely absolute about all this, when we definitely can find some middle ground to make classes feel wanted, desirable, and not feel like Blizzard just dropped a freaking thermonuclear warhead on your class in the way you've been playing for almost 5-6 months now. But anyway, without further ado, let's switch it over and dive right into it. So I'll see you then. So here is the blue post that went live yesterday, and they're adding it says new feature Celestial Dungeons. It's not new, but it is changed from what it is in this phase, obviously. And they're introducing Season 2 of Celestials in the patch, and players will make their way through Isle of Thunder, Challenge, Lation, and the Throne of Thunder raid, and the Thunder King's Domain, extra, blah, blah, blah. A bunch of RP stuff, pretty much saying Season 2 is going to be Throne of Thunder mechanics with more power, and making them more difficult because we're getting better gear. Might of the Thunder King enemies in Celestial Dungeons will have 35% increased damage and 125% increased health. I honestly don't even know what it is right now, but it is a joke and super easy for any character. Even undergeared characters can blow through them. The buffs are very powerful, so yeah, it's not even hard at all. Even for, geared characters, I think I could solo them with the Nazu buff, honestly. That's how powerful it is. But anyway, I think, it's whatever. Lightning traps, so they will get lightning traps, they will get thunderstorms, and they will get summon the storm as the 3 mechanics. Now, these I think are all Throne of Thunder, These are all Throne of Thunder mechanics that you're going to have to avoid. So lightning traps like the wind bomb. Thunderstorm is probably just going to be a druid hurricane that you're going to have to stand out of. And then summon the storm. Every 60 seconds the boss is influenced by Lation and will use one of the 3 new lightning based abilities. So I don't know. So we have 5 possible abilities, or I don't know. I just don't know what it's going to be. Then each of the Celestials gain an additional buff as part of their blessing. So not only do they become more powerful, you also become more powerful, and it slowly charges, and when it hits max charge, you summon your Celestial for your buff to come help you. So like everyone becomes monks and gets Zwin to come out and crank for them. So pretty cool stuff. I would like more details on like when these are coming. Is it going to be 2 weeks after the raid, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? Are we getting them right away? Like just some communication on the timeline of releasal. Everybody thinks 2 weeks, but 2 weeks from December 13th is Christmas, so like that's kind of the worst possible time to release them, but I don't know anymore. I mean, the LFR gear probably, the only thing people would want is trinkets and possibly tier, but it's probably lower than your gear right now if you have heroic gear that is twice upgraded. So like I said, I genuinely don't know where it would fall in the power scale. Now we have the class changes. So probably the biggest one is quite awesome is Druid. Balanced Druid. It is increased to 20%. It was 10%, and it was 25 pre-Throne of Thunder. So they get a 10% buff, so it's only a 5% nerf instead of a 15% nerf. And this is great because this means, you take a balanced Druid, and their B-Res utility, Innervate, and a few other things that are nice, instead of just a Hunter with a Spore Bat. Essentially, a Boomkin is never good. It's just a Hunter with a Spore Bat is what you sub it, and everyone knows that, and everybody does it. People were already being asked to leave their raid team as Boomkins, so it really sucks to see that. Then they're increasing tree damage. It was 9.1, it got nerfed to 3.64, and now it is at 5.1%, so it's only a 4% nerf opposed to the 6% nerf. Then Feral, Savage Roars reduced to 3%, it was 0, and it was 5% pre-nerf, so very odd that it was just useless. Like, I don't think it was useless. It's just it was 0% on it, but it increases damage by 3% now. And Tiger's Eye Brew stack increased to 5%. It was 3.5. So Windwalker buff. So monks are going to be doing a lot more damage, honestly. That is a kind of a massive buff because they drink 10 stacks. So it's now a 50% damage when they're in their burst window opposed to 35%. So it's, you know, a 15% damage increase for their brew drinking window, which is really nice. Then we have Retribution Paladins, Templar's Verdict, increased by 7%. And the increase to Crusader Strike, Exorcism, Judgment, Divine Storm, Hammer of Righteousness, and Hammer of Wrath increased to 20% was 10. So so they just get an overall Templar's Verdict buff of 7%, and it just straight up 10% buff on nearly every damaging ability that a Ret Paladin uses. So Windwalker Monk, Ret Paladin, definitely might be topping charts now. Like, that's actually really good buffs. And then, of course, Balanced Druid is now playable instead of just a hunter with the Spore Bat. Then Warlock Affliction. So Affliction actually got decreased a little bit. The damage increase is now 20%. It was 25 on PTR and 50% pre-Throne of Thunder. The Drain Souls dot trigger reduced to 15%. It was 20, and Malefic Grasp was reduced to 15%. It was 25. So Affliction gets even more nerfed. So I think Warlocks are probably going to be going Destruction way more than Affliction. They're all Affliction right now because Affliction's been dominant. Then Blood Decay. Damage reduction added to blood presses reduced to 0% was 2%. So they just take 2% more damage, I guess. These reduced to 0% feel so weird to read out loud because it's just like, it's just now gone is how I read 0%, but I just don't know if like it's off the base damage reduction or not. This is very weird wording that they've ever used. So Death Strike now additionally heals the Death Knight for 2% of their attack power. This allows Blood Death Knight's Vengeance to help scale their mitigation like other tanks. This is being introduced at a small percentage because it is affected by both Sin of Blood stacks and Mastery Blood Shield new. So Blood Decay is honestly like they're just taking away the raw reduction and they're making it more of a skill-based thing. So you're tracking your vengeance, which is what every tank has to do. I'm not sure how Monk's mitigation scales with their attack power though. I'm not sure if that is true. But anyway, those are all the changes and we have a lot looking forward to. Then also we got a surprise new third PTR. So December 2nd to December 4th, right before Throne of Thunder goes live, they're opening it up for another test. So they're letting us tank this Thanksgiving weekend upcoming off, and then we'll be able to go. I don't know why they can't open it like this weekend and then like next weekend have a break. I don't really know, but pretty cool. I was informed more testing. More testing gives them more time to get these stuff right. And then finally, I told you guys about a little trick, and I wanted to reiterate this because we have the actual information now. So this is not a formal blue post, but it is how the system will work for upgrading. So non-Thunderforge items will start at 02, and each upgrade will grant 3 item levels for a total of 6. For the first few weeks, it will cost 250 Valor, and then a few weeks after the release of Phase 3, each upgrade will cost Justice Points. The cost is yet to be confirmed, but it would be unreasonable to assume it's 1,000 per upgrade is probably what it is. Now, I will say that I reached out to devs and I asked them specifically about this following the video, and they confirmed this is probably the system they're going with. They're still deciding on weeks and stuff, and a blue post will be made at some point. But I just want to tell you guys that this does seem like the system is, and since I gave you the other video, I want to make sure that you guys are aware of this. But this has been conveyed, but I would wait until the formal blue post, which I will point out if it ever comes, of the system they plan on doing. But I just want to make sure you guys are aware of this too, because it is very important for how you're going about these next few weeks prepping for Throne of Thunder, whether you're farming a ton of Justice Points and all the badges, etc., etc. But anyway, guys, those are all the changes that they dropped, and I genuinely hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, anything that you'd like to add, definitely drop it down below, and I will do my very best. Until next time, I'll see you later. Hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.
Hey you. Yes you. Are you still there? Well, I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this entire video and making it to the end here. If you enjoyed this video, definitely check out the other videos about World of Warcraft listed in these playlists down below. And thank you again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.